The official goal was to destroy Iran's offensive missiles, missile production capabilities, and naval forces while preventing it from obtaining a nuclear weapon. But then the rhetoric widened dramatically. Trump said the United States should have a role in choosing Iran's next leader. At that moment, the mission quietly expanded from neutralizing weapons to redesigning a country's political future. Regime change has a curious way of entering American wars like an uninvited guest who insists he was expected. The scale of the campaign quickly demonstrated that this was no symbolic strike. Reuters reports that more than 2,000 targets have been struck across Iran and that over 30 Iranian ships have been destroyed. The International Atomic Energy Agency said entrance structures at Iran's underground Natanz enrichment facility were damaged, though it confirmed no radiological consequences from that specific damage. In modern warfare, this counts as reassuring news. Yes, a nuclear-linked site was bombed, but the radiation politely declined to participate. Then came the moment that turned the confrontation into full war. Ayatollah Ali Khamenei was killed during the opening wave of US-Israeli strikes, with Iranian state media confirming his death. When the leader of a country is killed on the first day of attacks, the phrase limited operation begins to sound like describing a hurricane as slightly windy. But the most haunting image of the opening day was not a naval strike or a missile factory. It was a school. In the southern Iranian city of Minab, a girls' elementary school was bombed during the first day of the war. Reports emerging afterward indicated that the strike was carried out by the US-Israeli attack campaign, killing large numbers of students and civilians inside the school. The attack on the girls' school quickly became one of the most shocking symbols of the opening assault, because when a war's first headlines include the bombing of a school of children, the language of precision and necessity begins to sound disturbingly hollow. Schools are among the clearest civilian sites protected under international humanitarian law. They are places where the future of a society is supposed to be built quietly with books and chalkboards rather than explosives. Yet within hours of the war beginning, the world was confronted with images of classrooms turned into rubble and school bags scattered among the debris. The tragedy in Minab exposed one of the central hypocrisies of modern warfare. The same powers that frequently present themselves as defenders of education, children, and women's rights had launched a military campaign whose first day included the destruction of a girls' school. This is the uncomfortable reality of modern war. The speeches about protecting civilians often arrive from the same capitals that authorized the bombs falling on them. If such an attack had been carried out by a country considered an enemy of the West, the condemnation would have been immediate and thunderous. It would have been called barbaric, criminal, and an attack on humanity itself. But when Western powers are involved, the vocabulary often becomes softer. The words incident and investigation appear quickly, as if tragedy becomes more polite when it passes through official review. And so the opening chapter of this war unfolded with striking clarity. The United States and Israel launched coordinated attacks on Iran after stalled but ongoing diplomatic negotiations. The country's supreme leader was killed in the first wave. More than 2,000 targets were struck. Naval forces were destroyed. Nuclear facilities were damaged. And the girls' school in Minab became one of the earliest civilian tragedies of the conflict. Yet the same governments responsible for the strikes continue to describe the operation as necessary to preserve peace and stability.